Hi, welcome to the show. It's easy does it. I'm going to let you know the first order of business right away. DJ Moore had something come up. And by something, I mean he's got parenting to do, which is a very valid thing to have to do. His kid's softball game ran late. They won the game, but now they got a long drive back and cannot make it for the show. That said, he will come on the show eventually. He's been on before. And really, the Bears could probably use him this week because we are down. How many corners are we down? 4 corners, like a whole square or rectangle or rhombus. Corner 1, Jalen Johnson's down. Obviously, he's on IR. Terrell Smith injured first, during the preseason. Those are corners 1 and 2. Then Kyler's hurt, missing this game. Tyreek Stevenson's hurt, also missing this game. Bears are in some trouble going into Baltimore. They did get a bit of good news that Lamar Jackson's going to be, taking his recovery time seriously, which is definitely good to see for us. Hopefully Lamar gets well soon. Definitely hope he gets well by the time they play Green Bay. But for this game, he is hurt. And that's, we're going to go against Tyler Huntley on the road, and that's something that, should definitely be favorable for us. However, there's several reasons why the cards are stacked against the Bears this week, and I want to kind of dive into that. But first, I want to bring on my dear friend and reoccurring guest star to the show, 4-time NBA champion, Noah Gross.
No DJ, but you got some NG. So
yep, that's up. That's what's up. How you doing, Noah?
Another day in paradise. Eagles are back on the winning side of things. Everyone has calmed down for the week. I'm sure if they lose again on Sunday, it'll be roof's falling, the sky's falling again. But for now, we're in the good spirits.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. I thought he couldn't throw the ball. I thought he was just a runner.
The way you beat it when he decides to hit his deep ball, he is a much different quarterback. That's what I'll say.
He had a perfect rating. Dude threw a perfect game on Sunday.
Just about you. Yeah.
That's
couldn't really ask for anyone.
He did have a perfect rating.
I think it was a perfect quarterback rating, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can't top that. Can't top that at all.
No, yeah, and you know what? It was great to see that guys are still kind of, all the stuff about AJ and the media and whatever. He's still just showing up, putting in work. He's going to miss this week's game. Curious to see how the other guys respond.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that offense meshes without AJ Brown. I think, we'll go through all the games. I think that's what we'll do. But it is going to be interesting to see, if they lose a step. I imagine they will because AJ is so good, but also it is very much a revenge game for you guys.
I think it could be the Barkley breakout game. I could very much see
what I was saying. That's what I was saying yesterday, believe it or not. I do think it will definitely be where Barkley's finally like, all right, you know what? No more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm going to run wild on my former team just because I feel like doing it. Like, that's just what I want to do.
That'll be a good thing to see.
Yeah, no, and eventually, it's only a matter of time before he decides to snap. And I think this is the week for him. I really do.
At some point, he will outgain DeAndre Swift, but until that happens.
Although I will say, man, DeAndre's been money the past few weeks, and
yeah, he's been really, really good.
We've sorely missed that. I've never seen the Bears' offensive line able to get so much push.
And it's crazy because they've made so many changes, and they're already so cohesive up front.
Yeah, we got that undrafted Canadian guy, Theo Benedict or whatever his name is. Or I don't know if he's Canadian or if he played college.
I think he's from BC. I think he's from British Columbia.
So basically he's Canadian.
He's either from British Columbia or went to Boston College, one or the other.
I'm gonna look him up real quick. He's from Ontario. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And he went to British Columbia. He's 6'7", 304 pounds, so he's definitely got the frame. But there's a reason these guys go undrafted. I'm not. There's definitely
right. You not expect the ceiling to be sky high on him, but you ask him to be a fill-in, serviceable left tackle for a year.
And look, I don't think he's going to be much worse than Braxton Jones.
I have talked ad nauseum about my thoughts on him. So when I heard he was benched early, I was ecstatic about it because I'm just glad to hear it. I like the idea of giving the young guy with the big frame an opportunity to see what he can do out there. At the end of the day, as long as he's not an absolute liability to get Caleb hurt, fine. Anything
No,
out
exactly.
is a plus.
I mean, he would have given up some sacks if not for Caleb being able to escape Chase Young, which is still a really funny name for a defensive end, Chase Young. But yeah, I'm surprised that that Benedette is playing over Trapillo. Although, I guess Ben Johnson probably sees something that we don't.
Ceiling versus floor. Benedict might be more ready to play right now as we sit here today. Whereas Ozzy's ceiling is honestly going to be significantly higher. And I've talked about this to you on a rant. I absolutely hate putting in guys I hate when you draft a guy specifically because they are a large body or you draft them for their physical trait and then you ask them to play too soon for no other reason than the guy in front of them isn't very good. It drives me absolutely crazy. I think it's complete ass backwards. I think is
that specific to the offensive line?
It regardless of position, but especially on the offensive line, where most guys coming out of college need a year, if nothing else, to get like their grown man playing strength. Forget learning about techniques and the playbooks. You just need a year to get your NFL body. It's such a more physical, faster game than in college. So especially a guy like Ozzy, who you drafted as this, 6'6", 330 plus pounder. That's the entire purpose of getting him, is to mold him into something great for next season. So I think putting him in now when he's not ready to play, which obviously if he was ready to play, he would be playing.
Right. No, it's about getting him practice reps, against NFL quality defensive linemen. But yeah, I think that's the most important thing right now is grooming Ozzy, getting him ready maybe for next year. And maybe, yeah, you could absolutely be right. Theo could be more equipped for the job right now.
Right.
I do not good at segues, but I do want to make some picks because this week's slate, I don't know if you checked it out, but
it's a good slate. It's a good slate this week. Yeah.
Well, it's really funny. It's a funny slate because
there's a word for it.
A lot of games here that I think are just going to be absolutely disgusting blowouts.
It's interesting because every time we have that, it never ends up being the case. Every time we have a blowout weekend set up, it always ends up being that it's close and the good team has a couple of turnovers, maybe a quarterback goes down. It is interesting. I was thinking about the Bears game specifically. I always thought Cooper Rush was a weird fit as a backup quarterback there. It
did not make any sense.
It was just weird, especially when Snoop Huntley was out there the entire time. I do think that will cause an extra element, but there's a reason to deal with. But there's a reason he was available and is a QB3 and so on and so forth.
Yes. No, exactly. I mean, it's one of those situations where he's starting because he knows the system and he's played there before.
And he brings an extra element to the ground game that you'll have to deal with, but you sort of also know how to deal with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, it is, and it's obviously much better than facing perennial MVP Lamar Jackson. I think.
I have to imagine if you're down that many cornerbacks going against a backup quarterback rather, with Derrick Henry in the backfield and it's a mobile quarterback, it would not stun me to see them stay in their base defense more frequently, keep less DBs on the field and more linebackers, defensive linemen on the field.
Oh, that's a really good point. That is, that's why we have you on. That's astute analysis because, you're less scared about getting beat by the receivers in a game like this.
Right. And you want to make sure you're maintaining your gap integrity, doing what you need to do.
Go Robbo.
Howdy, Robbo. So who is the third the third linebacker for the Bears right now? Is it Hypolite?
It's Sewell's been playing.
No, Sewell, yeah. So especially Sewell, who I remember him coming out of Oregon, I believe it was. I think he also was a former running back in college. So he's one of those weak side linebacker athlete guys who can go side to sideline and stick with the quarterback. So I would not be surprised to see him have an uptick in playing time.
Yeah, and we also got DeMarco Jackson, who I know very little about. If I'm being honest,
I would imagine I remember Sewell, if I remember correctly, was also a running back at Oregon who are becoming a full-time linebacker. So that's the kind of athlete, if you're going to go with a 3 linebacker base, he is out there and your job is don't let the quarterback turn the corner. That's his entire job.
Yeah, no, honestly, I mean, I always love the idea of just like just because it drives me crazy when quarterbacks escape when
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the defense. I love the idea of having a spy and, just keeping him in the pocket. But yeah, there's really no reason to. The truth of the matter is, I don't know. I truly don't even know who's going to be playing cornerback for us in this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that playing a lot of base defense is going to be what happens. I think Dennis Allen is going to have to, probably be pretty clever with the scheming, but like, if we get into a situation where we're able to make Derrick Henry one-dimensional, or not Derrick Henry, the Ravens one-dimensional, try to take Derrick Henry out of the game, I do think, it's kind of like a weak offense against a very depleted defense, because the Ravens offense really kind of ain't shit without Lamar.
Even with Lamar, it wasn't looking incredible. Derrick Henry hasn't looked all out of this world. Their offensive line does not look great. Unfortunately, Falale, who is one of our favorite guys in the league, is just not good at football, which is really unfortunate because he's like huge and awesome and we love him in Madden. But he's an absolute liability in the middle of that line.
Yeah, no, it's the Ravens have been bad all year. They've been really bad. They aren't what their record is because they are a great franchise. They're a well-coached team, and like they always do seem to figure it out, get into the playoffs, and this is usually when they turn it around. However, their defense is real depleted right now. It's real depleted, and and they're just in a situation where, like, they're very vulnerable, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Starks has really struggled as a rookie.
Our starting corners
would be very good.
Sorry, go ahead. What did you say?
Oh, no, I was just saying, I think it's interesting. Malachi Starks, who we all thought is kind of like one of the more pro-ready guys in this draft. And we thought, he fell to the Ravens, and it's him and Kyle Hamilton. He's really, really struggled. They paid a lot of money to Marcus Williams a couple years ago. Just they've made a couple of moves that haven't necessarily worked out, particularly in the secondary. Nate Wiggins is good, but he's kind of hurt up and down. So I think the name of the game for the Bears on offense would be to, use your skill position players and really take advantage of some of their lesser players. And then on defense, like you said, it's just really, control Derrick Henry, make him one-dimensional, turn him into a one-dimensional team. And when you get into those third medium, third longs, like you said, you have to get off the field. You can't let him scramble, whether that's with a spy, whether that's with your coverage dictation, whether that's with some stunts, whatever it may be. You just have to be able to get off the field.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I think also this is going to be one of those games where it's like you want to score early. You want to, get the ball, take it down their throat, get on the board quickly, because if the Ravens are in a situation where they have to pass a lot, even though our secondary is depleted, I do like our chances.
That's why you would still rather have them throw it on you with Huntley than running it with Henry. That's still what you would prefer.
Also, just like, and yeah, Robbo, just to be clear, Lamar is not playing, which is good for us. Just to be clear about the Ravens right now, I just think it's funny how, this Ravens team is like loaded with all the Madden guys that we would just sign because
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Hamilton, of course, was one of our favorites, but then like Gilman's
one of our guys. Barrett Carter,
Uzi, the corner. We used to love bringing,
the Clemson linebacker we like a lot, yeah.
And Van Noy, like, who doesn't sign Van Noy? They're like, oh, he's a 78 overall, and I need a pass rusher to, rotate in and out.
There you go.
It's a very classic Madden rotation. Anyhow, let's talk about some of the other games because we got some interesting ones this week. And a lot of games that have the potential to be blowouts. And it's just going to be interesting to see, maybe an underdog will get a win or two. One of the more, I don't know. Okay, so we got Miami going into Atlanta. That's the first game listed on the slate. So Kirk Cousins is starting this game in place of Penix. Is that it? Penix? Yeah, it's not Penix. Penix. Kirk Cousins is getting the start. Atlanta should win this game. Miami's been horrible, but you can never count on Atlanta. You really can't. I think.
How good are they really? Do we really know yet? They've got one good solid win this year from a couple weeks ago. How good are they really? Miami still has some really solid players. I just think everything is such a dumpster fire with Miami right now and I think Kirk is now 2 years removed from his injury. So I do think, he played clearly last year. He played hurt. Like, he was not a 100% healthy player last year. I'm curious to see. It would not stun me if he looks decent in this game, and then there are some traders who come calling, so to speak.
Oh yeah, no, I do think there are some teams that would definitely be interested in a Kirk Cousins I would have thought that the Bengals would have traded for him instead of Flacco.
I think the salary was the big thing.
The salary for sure, but also
a big factor. Yeah,
it was probably the salary. Also, like I could see where Atlanta maybe just didn't want to get rid of him because I don't think they trust Penix yet, and I wouldn't. I don't,
especially if they've kind of overachieved this year. Like, oh, if we were looking to sell, but like now if we get into the playoffs, we have to be able to compete.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Atlanta's looking relatively competitive. They're sitting at 3-3 with a really good shot to get to 4-3. They're not in the best division. I mean, they got to deal with the Bucs, but the Saints aren't much. Of course, Carolina smoked them in their first game, but Atlanta should win their second.
Football doesn't really count for anybody.
What's it?
First week of football doesn't count for anybody. You can't tell anything about anybody after week 1.
I think it was like week 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. I
mean, the Panthers are starting Andy Dalton on Sunday, so what does that tell you? You know what I mean?
It tells you that Andy Dalton.
Tells you that trade is looking pretty freaking good right now.
It tells you that I'm a very old man because I remember when Andy Dalton was drafted out of TCU in, I believe, 2011.
2011, 2012, one or the other.
So who do you got? You got Atlanta winning this game against the dumpster fire that's the Dolphins?
I got Atlanta. Even with the backup quarterback, you still have Bijan, you still have Pitts, you still have London, you still have the defense is still not very good, but it is much faster and more talented. There's an injection of youth on that side of the ball. So yeah, I got Atlanta.
All right, I could see it. I mean, no, I agree. I completely agree. I think they win like a 20-13 type deal. Next game listed is our game. We got the Bears going into Baltimore. Originally, I said I think we're going to lose by 10. I think it's going to be closer now that it's Snoop Huntley and not Lamar Jackson. But look, I still think Ravens are coming off a bye. Ravens are starving for a win at 1-5 late in the season. Or like not late in the season, but like as the season's progressing.
Right.
The Bears are down 4 corners. They're at home. Baltimore's at home. And it feels like all the cards are stacked against us in this game. I did not think we were going to win this game going into the season. I think we have as good a shot as ever to beat the Ravens this weekend, just given that Lamar is hurt and how badly they've been playing. But I still don't think that this is a win for the Bears. I just don't see it. Like, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll come down to how Caleb plays, and he's been pretty inconsistent all season. So I think the Ravens win by a field goal. I think like a 27-24 type thing.
I get that. I've gone back and forth on this. I think I unfortunately agree with you. I think I look at it like I don't think either team's record is reflective of how good they are. I do not think the Bears are as good as their record is. I don't think the Ravens are as bad as their record is. I think that the injuries kind of even each other out. They're down their backup quarterback. You're down multiple corners. That's kind of about equal in how much value it provides. And I do think, like you said, they are so desperate for a win. They need something to go right. And I do think that when you look at the rosters, there is still a significant amount of more talent on the Ravens roster than the Bears roster. And I think at the end, I think this will be one of those games where talent and coaching went out. And I love Ben Johnson. I love Dennis Allen. I love the staff there. But there's a reason Harbaugh's been doing this for so long, and he's
it's an experience factor.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lower scoring game. I think it'll be a coaching wins out game. So 17-16, 16-10, one of those.
Oh wow, okay. So you're thinking like real low scoring.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a really. I think Dennis Allen does a really good job. And it's two teams that are. I think the difference in their record versus their talent are on opposite ends. And like we said, every week in the weeks where it looks like there's going to be multiple blowouts, there's one where it just doesn't happen. I think this is the one where we go, are they really winning this? Are the Bears really this and this? And I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a defensive game, but I do think Baltimore pulls it out. Like you said, coming off of a bye with good coaching is always very hard to beat.
But hey, we're both seeing a close game, down to the wire. Crazy things could happen. I'm not saying the Bears can't win this game because any given Sunday and et cetera, et cetera. They should win this game. I would imagine they're favored in this game. I think this. No, we're not. I think it's Baltimore. Like, I think the spread dropped a little bit, but I think it's like -4.5.
Wow, that's a bigger spread than I imagined. But yeah, no, I would be taking Baltimore in this game.
Baltimore is to win a game.
Yeah.
Like they're due
for one, right? They're due.
We want this one. They need this one.
Yeah, they're due.
Like this is must win for Baltimore.
No, yeah, I would take Baltimore in this one.
I mean, it's early in the year, but it's you don't want to be 1-6.
Yeah,
you don't want to be 1-4. Anyway, but I'm gonna still be watching, of course, and pulling for my boys. And look, if we win and get to 5-2, oh man, you're gonna have to stop me from thinking about playoffs.
It'd be hard not to have those thoughts this early. It sounds crazy to be even having those discussions, but it would be discussions you have to be having.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would be thinking about it,
right?
Like I wouldn't be thinking about
sure.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Obligatory. Anyway, moving on from the Bears for a minute. We got the Jets going into Cincinnati. Tyrod Taylor, as his name is pronounced, is not starting because he's injured. So Justin Fields is going to get the start. Justin Fields is 14-36 in his career.
Oh, God.
He is not good.
Nope. He's not good at football.
He throws fast, runs far. Wait, no, I'm sorry. He throws far.
At this point, it is, though. It is about that, yeah, actually.
Yeah, no, honestly, he does run far and he does throw fast. I don't know. Look, people like to defend him still for some reason about how, he hasn't thrown any interceptions. Yeah, because he doesn't throw the ball. He doesn't get it out of his hands.
It's crazy. I've never seen someone so.
I don't want to hear about how he doesn't have weapons either. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall are weapons. All right, these are good players.
Multiple first-round offensive linemen. Yeah.
Yep. It's bad. I mean, and look, the offensive line, they haven't been playing great. I've been watching the breakdowns, but most of these sacks are on Justin.
No, Justin Fields is not a good quarterback. Has never been a good quarterback. Will never be a good quarterback. Those of us who have known that for a while are not surprised by anything. Yeah, great college quarterback. But those of us who have known this about Justin for a while are not surprised. The fact that there are still people who don't know this and are still surprised surprises me. But like you said, there are some people who are still defending him and trying to make excuses. Yeah, but I do think it is a game that is winnable for the Jets. But I think more than anything, it's going to be an audition for guys they're going to trade. Like Breece Hall, Johnson, the edge from Florida State, Michael Carter, the second, their corner. I think it's going to be an audition for, hey, guys, come and trade for our players and come get somebody who can help you in the playoffs.
It's pretty concerning because I'm worried about them sending Garrett Wilson to Green Bay.
Yeah, that could very much happen.
All the sense in the world.
We had this discussion about Golden a couple of days ago where I said they had multiple good receivers, adding another good one. I thought the Golden pick was a waste of a pick because adding another good one doesn't do anything to change that room. Adding a truly great receiver to that room changes everything. So adding someone like Garrett Wilson to that receiving room would be really dangerous.
I was talking to Oren about this yesterday. He said that if y'all were facing the Packers in the playoffs, he thinks that y'all would steamroll them because, and I know he's how he is. He's very positive, but
sure.
But I mean, it's just because who are you scared of on that roster besides Josh Jacobs?
Right. Who are you scared when you look at the Eagles guards and go, hey, we can, our CB2s haven't been great, but we can throw, we can throw Quinton out there. We can throw Cooper out there. You have the City's playing decent. And that's the whole point I was making about the Golden being waste of a pick. He doesn't scare you either. If you add someone who scares you to that room, it changes the entire room. So if they add someone like a Garrett Wilson, that would really change everything, I think.
The Packers are currently the number 1 seed, which pisses me off. But I don't know if that's going to last.
They haven't played great football.
They almost lost to Arizona. They lost to Cleveland. They weren't awesome against the Bengals. They won, but I don't know.
No, they haven't played incredible football by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. And I still don't know how to feel about Jordan Love. I don't think I ever will know how to feel about Jordan Love.
We're still too early to know what we really feel about anybody in the NFC, I think.
Yeah, no, it's very much a clusterfuck. And all I know is I'm the biggest Steelers fan in the world tomorrow night, but we'll get to that. Anyway, Bengals are going to smoke the Jets like a 24-3 type deal.
I don't know if it'll be that bad just because the Bengals defense still has a lot of problems with it. I do think it'll be a solid 28-10, 21-7, like,
That's true,
I
that's true.
24-10. I don't, it'll be one of those ones where the game's never in question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and I mean, Joe Flacco, really, I was so impressed. Joe Flacco against the Steelers. Once, after the first quarter, after a slow start, he was just getting it out so fast.
Yeah.
Just rapid fire, like, hey, I'm going to throw it to Chase.
And
I'm going to throw it
it's
to Chase
funny
again.
when you have a top 5 NFL receiver and you just give them like 15 plus targets, they catch like half of those and they have like over 100 yards and a couple of
I think he had
touchdowns.
16 catches.
Funny. So funny how that works.
Yeah, no, I think he had 16 catches. And like,
I think I had 20. I think I had 23
honestly,
targets.
it doesn't matter how bad your offensive line might be if you're throwing it as soon as you catch it.
Yeah. And the line has played better,
Oh, yeah.
So
partially because
I like the Bengals pretty easily.
Yeah, Bengals win handedly, and I just feel for the Jets. I really do. Bills going into Carolina to play the 4-3 Panthers. You know what? Good for the Panthers for being 4-3. Like,
competitive football team.
Good for them.
Canales had a rough first year. We thought he could be just similar to one of to Callahan, sort of just a mistake hire, but he's turned it around. He's riding the ship.
I mean, like, they've been playing competitive football for sure, and they have some pieces that I like. I don't think they're, they think they're kind of in the same boat as the Bears, if I'm being honest, where it's like they're not ready to compete just yet, but like, they could.
They're
they
still
could
tough
be
out
frisky.
every week. Yeah,
they could be frisky. But they're not going to beat the Bills, even if it's in
I don't think so either. Particularly with Dalton at quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, definitely not. And look, I was bummed to see Bryce Young go down, but and it'll be fun to see good old Andy Dalton again. Actually, no, Andy Dalton might be the most boring quarterback in the NFL right now.
I am curious to see how they use Dowdle and Chuba, considering they both.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'll be interested to see how that
mainly for the fantasy implications. But yeah, I think that I love McMillan. I really do.
Yeah, I was very high on Tet early in the draft process. Then I sort of faded on him. He's very talented. He has been a better athlete than anticipated. He's more than just a go and get it guy. Their line is not great, and I think I don't see Carolina pulling this out. But it wouldn't shock me if they did. It wouldn't shock me if Buffalo.
Look, they gave y'all a challenge last year, if I remember correctly.
No, yeah. So they did, and I think their defense is better than it's given credit for. There's some really talented guys on that defense. So Derek Brown is an absolute game changer in the middle of that defense. He's one of the more underrated players in this league. He's up there with Jalen Carter's, and then he is an absolute game changer.
Yeah, no, I still don't know why they got rid of Brian Burns.
I understand the time they got decent draft capital for him, and it didn't make sense to pay him when they weren't going to be competitive.
I see. I guess that does make some sense. But yeah, they do have that. Derek Brown takes up a lot of space in the middle. But that said, I think the Bengals win. Not the Bengals, the Bills rather. I think they win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Like I said,
it'll be a bit closer than that, but I think it'll be a touchdown and a half, 2 touchdowns.
Like 10 point game or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bills, they haven't looked their best. They'll be fine. I'm not worried about the Bills. Like they lost to the New England, which must have sucked ass for them. And then who else did they lose to? Oh, they lost to the Falcons. That's right.
Right.
On Monday Night Football.
Monday night,
expected, they're going to have some
Monday Night Football on the road. Yeah, it's a tough place to play. I get it.
But now they got, coming off a bye, Josh Allen, I expect a big game for him. I really do.
Yeah.
Niners at Texans. Mac Jones has been really good for the Niners, except past 2 weeks he's kind of been a little bit more he's fallen back down to earth for sure past couple of weeks, but they're still winning a lot of games. I don't like the Texans. I think they're very vanilla and just not interesting.
They're a boring team. Their offensive line is horrendous. None of the moves they made sense. They brought in, I think, 4 new offensive linemen, and none of them were any good. Like they were all low rated on PFF or trades that they got and cast off from the teams where guys didn't even want them. It's a bad offensive line. That said, I am still very much a CJ Stroud believer. I think he's a talented quarterback. I think he is a good player. Nico Collins, I don't think is playing, which would make a big difference. That said, I do like their defense they've gotten on there, and they've got a really good head coach. I actually think they pull it off at home. I like the idea
Really?
I like the way their running game looks. Woody Marks, their rookie, looks really solid. Looks like they found something there. Had a couple of really big games. You still have Chubb there, who's a solid veteran. And I just think at home it's a decent. It's in a you're in a dome, obviously. I like Stroud to find the vertical passing game a little bit. They've gone a little bit away from that, which I haven't understood because that's what he likes to do and it's what he's better at. You might almost a Jalen Hurts type of way. So I could see this being a game where some of those rookies like Jalen Noel and their other receivers and other guys. Yeah, I could see this as sort of a wake up game for the offense, and the defense, which has still been playing well, finally gets a little bit of support.
I could see it because I think there's still, I don't know. I think the jury's still out on Stroud. I'm very flip floppy on him. I could see them winning. I just don't think they will. I like Shanahan. I think that the Niners are doing a lot of really good things this year.
The Niners are also incredibly banged up. They've got a lot of guys hurt.
Niners?
They got a lot of guys hurt right
now.
Oh, yeah.
They're a hospital team.
Which it's every year with them. It's I don't know what's in the water.
Robert Solomon, he's so good. He's so good at getting the most out of his guys.
He's gotten 4 sacks out of Bryce Huff, who the Eagles traded away. And the Eagles have 2.5 sacks, 1.5 of which retired with Zadarius Smith.
Oh, wait a minute. The Eagles have 2.5 sacks on the season?
They have 2.5, and 1.5 of them retired.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Nope. And the guy we traded, and the edge we traded to San Francisco has 4 all by himself already.
Yeah, that's
not great.
Not great. I think
not great.
Fangio's going to have to be creative, man.
So they will be. It's unfortunate that they are going to, by necessity, have to move Jihad Campbell from off-ball linebacker into more of an edge thing. But they'll use Bond and they'll use him as an edge rusher. They'll turn Felix Hunt into an edge weapon. But getting back to this game, I think Houston's got weapons. I think that they're still a talented team. I think that they're a boring and vanilla team, like you said. But if they can get creative, they can be a talented team. And San Fran's banged up. CMC's starting to get going, but you're still playing with a backup quarterback. At a certain point, you will play poorly with a backup quarterback. I could see this being the week.
Isn't Brock Purdy kind of a backup quarterback? I'm just saying. Look, I don't see what separates.
He's a very average starter. I would say. I think he is like the baseline average NFL starter.
I've always said. Well, no, I don't know if I've always said this, but Mac Jones makes sense for Shanahan. I think it's a good fit. It's a system quarterback situation because one thing Mac Jones does well is he's got that footwork.
He does, and he's a good distributor to the football. He doesn't make mistakes, but that only gets you so far. It's similar. I agree. I think Purdy does everything just well enough, but there's nothing special about Purdy.
I think you could go further with Purdy. I don't think Mac Jones gets you very far.
No, you can go significantly further. Yeah,
Mac Jones will get them past the Texans. I
can see that.
He's 2017.
Mac Jones is good enough to beat the Texans. Absolutely. I just don't think they will this week.
Yes, exactly. I think I'm gonna stick with my gun. I'm gonna stick with the Niners. And what should be a good game, honestly. That should be a pretty fun one.
It should be close, regardless.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Cleveland in New England. Drake May might be the best quarterback in the NFL.
He's playing very well.
He's not the best quarterback in the NFL. That is an overreaction, but he's really good.
He is slinging it out there, and he's doing it to a bunch of different guys. They don't really have a premier pass catcher. Kayshon Boutte is probably their best pass catcher, and Stephon Diggs, who is 32 and coming off a blown out ACL, is looking almost like Stephon Diggs of old. But I'm really impressed with how they looked, and their offensive line is playing really, really well together. Some of those guys are starting to coalesce. Will Campbell has looked awesome at left tackle.
Oh, he's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
So I think it'll be a really good, and Drake May just continues to improve. His ability as a runner, which we didn't really see much of as a rookie, brings such a different dynamic to his game.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, the way he's really, really good, outside of the pocket. He's great at improvising. He really does everything super well.
He does.
Look, he would have been the number 1 pick this year.
He would have. No, absolutely.
Without
beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, no, he would have 100% been picked over Cam Ward. He's pretty remarkable, and yeah, I mean, like I know they were playing the Titans, who are pretty weak, but he was like, his accuracy is astoundingly good. And
Crazy.
and yeah, I think Myles Garrett might end up in his kitchen a little bit today, but or tomorrow, I should say. But I still like New England to win at home. They're the better team. The Patriots are back, and I got them winning like shit. I don't know, like I don't remember what I said yesterday when I did this almost exact thing. I see them winning like a 31-20 situation.
I think it could be even more than that. The Browns just aren't good. Like, they're just not good at
Their
football.
defense is good.
They have good defensive players on defense. You know what I mean? And Judkins is a really nice rookie find. They're just not a very good team. They're not like, I love Stefanski, but like the coaching overall on the team isn't incredible. He's a great play caller, a great play designer. I don't know if he's a great coach necessarily. I see it even more than that. I could see it being like maybe a little bit more lower scoring, but I just don't see them moving the ball on the Patriots. I think it's going to be like 21-7 or 24-7, 31-10. Like, I just don't see it being much of a game.
And by the way, I think Dylan Gabriel could be fun, but he's not ready yet.
No, but just to be abundantly clear, Shedeur Sanders is also not good. He also isn't. There's nothing special about his ability. There's nothing special to Shedeur Sanders' game. His absolute ceiling is like a decent mid-tier backup. There is a reason he went in the 5th round outside of all of the noise. So for everyone who is screaming that if you start Shedeur Sanders, suddenly everything in Cleveland will suddenly be amazing.
Yeah,
you're
he's
out
not
of your
the
mind.
answer for Cleveland. I don't think he's just going to fix everything. Although, who's been really good for Cleveland is Mason Graham.
Right, he's been good. He's been really,
yeah.
really
I think
good.
he's been like not putting up numbers.
And they made that trade last week where they swapped Greg Newsome and Tyson Campbell from Jacksonville, and he's played really solid for them. I mean, he's played like 85% of the snaps since they got him.
So I don't know. I don't know who Tyson Campbell is, honestly.
The corner from Georgia who was in Jacksonville.
Okay.
And I think he was on the last. He's in the last year of his contract. They signed Newsome to an extension, so they were trying to get off the money more or less, and he's actually playing pretty good football for them.
Yeah, no, like I said, I do like what the Browns defense is doing, especially like he got Myles Garrett, and now this Mason Graham, who I thought was just an absolute beast in college.
Not having
that's a good line. Which you?
The fact they lost Koromoa with the neck injury, the linebacker. It's so disappointing for them because he really was such a difference maker in the middle of that defense.
Yeah, no, I love Joke. He did everything. He's one of those guys that just does it all. I want to talk about Judkins though, because I think he's special. I think he's going to be a special player. Who does he remind you of?
Oh, that's an interesting question. It's funny because obviously he was just there. He really does though remind me of Nick Chubb.
A little bit, right?
The size, but also the agility without necessarily the speed, but he still has the power behind him. I think he's very much a put the foot in the ground, one cut and go guy, not necessarily the breakaway speed guy, but I think his agility and his quickness has been better than I thought. Also sort of almost like a poor man's Frank Gore in some way.
A little bit. Well, Frank Gore's like, he's, and most running backs are like a poor man version of him because he's like, that dude, he gave so much to the NFL. Oh my God.
That's a fair point.
Year after year. But I don't know. I love the Chubb comparison. Because Oren was saying he's like a watered down Derrick Henry, which I thought was a bit extreme.
It's a little complimentary, but I get where he's going.
Maybe a little complimentary. But I think Chubb too. They're about very similar size, and it's just like when you're that big, when you're 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, you could run with power, you could run people over. But what impresses me about him is just like how agile he is. He's fun. I think he's a special guy. I think he's going to be like a top 10 running back for a while.
Another name he kind of reminds me of, DeMarco Murray. Again, that's sort of
that's a good one.
Blocker, put the foot in the ground, turn up field.
That's a good one. And DeMarco Murray, he had some all-pro seasons.
Yeah, he was a really good player. No, I like Judkins a lot, and running behind that line, I think he can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's a really good comp because DeMarco was with Dallas. I mean, I guess he wasn't as great with you guys, but with Dallas 2014,
yeah.
He was a special player.
He was.
He really fell off a cliff.
He did.
He really fell off a cliff.
He did.
After that. But in his prime, 6 feet, like that is that style. That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And usually I like the smaller running backs, but But yeah, I want to go to the next game, which I just lost my schedule. Oh yeah, Patriots win this one. Maybe like a low scoring affair, but I think they win by like 2-3 touchdowns. Next game, we got your game. We got the Giants coming into Philly. Y'all are going to be angry.
Yeah. Brandon Graham out of retirement, coming back.
Not your favorite move.
It's not my favorite move. I have lessened my take. My initial take was it is so selfish of the organization to ask him to do this when he played with a blown out with a torn bicep muscle or a torn tricep in the Super Bowl. God's storybook ending, but he himself has said, yes, I did get that storybook ending, and I want to come back. So I'm like, all right,
yeah, it's his choice.
One of the things you want to do. I figured Howie was like, hey man, like me, and I'm like, no, Howie, you don't make him come out of retirement. You make a trade and go and get somebody.
No one's forcing him.
So exactly. So we'll see what he has left in the tank.
It's a good locker room move.
Good locker room move, particularly at a time when the locker room is a little bit fractured. There's a little bit of drama going on. I do think so. Without being cocky or overconfident, I think they will use this as a little bit of a get right game. They don't have AJ Brown like we talked about, but I think this is the week the line figured it out. They commit to the running game. Look, when they play Dart and when they play the Giants last time,
right?
Pardon?
Jurgens is still hurt.
Jurgens is still hurt, yeah. So that'll be tough. But Jalen Carter's playing. His back is playing decently. Jordan Davis is playing really good football. N'Kobe Dean back now.
Yeah, no, y'all are getting healthy on defense.
And look, when they played the Giants the first time, the score was not reflective of the game. I was there. Truly, there were 2 or 3 plays that go the other way, and it's genuinely a 21-point swing. I think they're going to commit to containing the quarterback scramble. And I do not think Jackson Dart is nearly good enough to win from the pocket. He's just not. He's not good enough he should not beat the Eagles from the pocket. If you contain him in the pocket, you shut him down. I think that's the move. Scadaboo is, I'm not saying Scadaboo's not good. I'm not saying that. I just don't think he is this all-world guy who they found their next Saquon and he's going to have a multiple 1,000 yards. I don't think he's that. I think he is a gravel-eating road grader who is super convenient and super important to the team, but I think he's like a LeGarrette Blount. Like, that's where I kind of see his ceiling being.
So I think with Scadaboo, I love Scadaboo, all right?
No, he's fun. I think you love him. Like, how good is he?
I know he's on a rival.
How talented of a running back is he? How cool is he? How fun is he? How good is he?
No, but I want to talk about how fun is he. You love Scadaboo, right? Even if he's on the Giants?
No, yes and no. Even coming out, we talked about in the draft, I said, like, I didn't think he was anything crazy. I think he is better than I thought he was going to be. But why I thought he wasn't going to be good is a little bit of still being true. I think he's limited in what he does.
Agree.
Doesn't have breakaway speed.
What I'm saying about I'm gonna tell you what my feeling on Scadaboo is. Yeah, he's not like talented. He's not the most. I don't think he's a very talented running back. I think he's a fun running back. Like, I love Scadaboo because of what he is. He's like the most old school type player you could ever imagine. He's like, he's 3 yards in a cloud of dust, just get in your face, CTE all over the place type of running back. That's fun. That's fun to watch. That's good for the league. That's like the most fun type of player you could get in a lot of ways.
However, are huge for the league.
He's not like super talented. No, he's a folk
and that's
hero.
My point. The Eagles should be good enough to not be run over by a not that talented running back.
Look, as if it's like 3 with the game on the line and you need a first down, you're not giving it to Scadaboo.
Right. And again, the Eagles are so much more talented than the Giants are. There's just such a talent discrepancy. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter whether or not Scadaboo actually is good or not. They should handle them decently well.
Yeah. I mean, what it comes down to more than the Scadaboo is the quarterback.
It's come back to the everything else. Like, again, there's just I can't think of a single position where the Giants are superior to the Eagles. I can't think of a single one. And when you're superior at every single position, you should win handily.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you lost already once. Like they should come out feeling some type of way.
I think y'all are going to smoke them. I think it's going to be, it might even be the opposite score of last time. I could see y'all winning like by 17 points.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, it is a fun locker room for sure. Like, it's definitely fun. I think the Giants are fun. I don't think they're good though. I don't think Scadaboo's like this all-world running back. I think he's just like all the white player stereotypes, the scrappy gym rat, first guy in, last guy out. That's what Scadaboo is.
Yeah.
He's real real like student of the game, whatever you want to call him. He fits that criteria. He's fine. He's an okay player.
He's fun and he's fine. I just don't
like. He's
they
not
shouldn't have any. They should do a better job handling him this time. But that is my prediction. The Eagles win it, and they win it pretty handily. I think it's more of a defensive show. I think it'll be 27-10, 31-20, that ballpark,
something like that. Yeah, and that'll be fun, and that'll be good for y'all to you lost 2 straight. It'd be nice to win 2 straight. Let's go to the next game, which is the Buccaneers at the Saints. Speaking of guys whose ceiling is a decent backup, I think Spencer Rattler is going to be such a fun backup one day.
I mean, he's pretty much that right now already, yeah. But no, I get what you're saying. He's
got so much fun. Like he
does everything really decently well.
Fluid.
Yeah,
he runs around. I think he's like a skinny Winston.
I was upset when Kellen Moore took the job because I was like, no, wait one more year and take an actual good job. But he's done a really good job with Rattler. Olave is back to looking like himself. Kamara still hasn't really gotten going yet. But I think this again is similar to the Eagles and the Giants, where it's just such a difference in the talent between the Bucs and the Saints rosters. There's just so much more talent on the Bucs roster, I think.
Yeah, both sides of the ball. It really is a matter of talent. And like these two teams, obviously it's one of those no love lost games, whatever. Like
we all know how Baker feels about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Baker hates the Saints, of course. And, that makes it definitely fun and intriguing in a way, but the Bucs are better and they should win by at least 10.
I agree. And I think,
and Baker's he's coming off one of his worst games in a while. He was bad on Monday night. So he
was. And, Mike Evans is still out. Bucky Irving's still out. So they're a little bit banged up right now. I think Ibuka might still be dealing with a hamstring and Godwin might still be dealing with his ankle. But I almost talked myself just now into taking the Saints. But no, the talent discrepancy is so great. And Kellen Moore is still a rookie head coach in just still trying to figure things out to a degree.
I almost talked myself into picking the Saints too, because there are certainly elements of this game that could lead to an upset. I just don't.
On the road, yeah.
Very talented. I just don't think the Saints are. And also, like, in the run game, I don't love the Saints' defense to stop the Bucs' running game.
No, yeah. Even with
I think Rashad White has a big game.
Rashad White or whoever it may be, yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Bucs win pretty handily. Next, we got what I think is the easiest game to pick in years. I think this is if the Titans beat the Colts, that's the upset of the decade.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard for that to happen. Like, again, are the Colts as good as their record? Probably not. Are the Titans as bad as their record? Oh, yeah. They're as bad as their record.
It feels like Ohio State versus Wyoming.
The Titans just are not good. Fire their coach.
I don't think Mike McCoy is a great interim coach either, by the way.
It's fair. It's very hard to find good things to say about them, and the Colts are playing fantastic football. I do think the Colts eventually come back down to more closer to the mean, and maybe as not necessarily the best team in the AFC, but like a solid playoff team.
They're so good,
not
though.
This week.
They're so good.
They really are, good, and Jonathan Taylor's having a genuine MVP caliber season. And the weapons they have, they all mesh together really. Like Warren and Pittman have such similar skill sets, and Pierce is such a different guy, and AD is different. And I really love how they built that offense.
Right? Like they're built in a way like they have talent that complements each other.
It's all cohesive. It's great, right? Yeah. It's all very cohesive, and where some guys have shortcomings, other guys are strong. Their offensive line has always been really underrated. Everyone just thinks about Quentin Nelson. Braden Smith's a really good tackle on the right side. I'm a really big fan of what they're doing there.
71% of his passes.
I know. And Tyler Warren is looking like
That's
a
gotta be pretty
genuine
cool as
Pro
an
Bowl
Eagles
caliber
fan.
tight
Like,
end.
he was in your division and he was terrible, and now
Yeah.
he's, somewhere else just absolutely kicking ass.
Well, I mean, I have to imagine, and I imagine, I not to rub it in, but watching Loveland not be necessarily a world-beating, all-amazing, worth-the-pick amazingness, while watching Tyler Warren be pretty good at football, that can't be the most awesome thing in the world, I would imagine.
All I know is I can't get too mad at it yet because I'm 4-2, and Tyler Warren's on my fantasy team.
Fair enough.
So I have a good consolation in place. Also, I still do like. I'm not gonna count out Loveland yet.
No, of course not. We're halfway through his rookie season.
I think you know what? I'm gonna call a touchdown for him this week.
That'd be nice.
First touchdown for
first career touchdown. Book it.
And yeah, look, just what they like. The Chargers are still a good team, and what they did to the Chargers was just like,
yeah,
they
smacked them around.
They bullied them all over the field. Yeah, I like the Colts to win this game, and like I don't know if the Titans will cover 30.
No,
I don't think they will. I think it'll be like. I mean, look, Cam Ward's been shit. I like Cam Ward. I like him. I think he's a low ceiling, high floor guy.
Agreed.
But right now his floor is he's not been excellent yet.
They're not winning Sunday. I don't see it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. If they make it a 17, if they lose by 17 or less, they should throw a parade in Nashville. I'll just say that. All right, we got Cowboys Broncos. This one, they love to put the Cowboys in the game of the week slot, even when they're not always the game of the week. This feels like a game of the week.
This is fair. No, this is a valid earned game of the week against the Broncos. Yeah. I mean, they put up 44 on Washington. This offense can still keep them in any game. George Pickens has looked like the complementary piece they've been searching for several years. Jake Ferguson having a career year. Offensive line really good. The defense is still very feast and famine. Either Deron Bland or Diggs is going to pick it off, or they're getting up a touchdown.
They are so
every drive, it's one or the other. But it's interesting. I think Dallas is better than I gave them credit for, but I still think they're good. I don't think they're a good football team, whereas I do think the Broncos are a good football team.
Yeah, I mean, look, they showed a lot of resilience last week.
They're finding ways to win.
The Giants. Yeah, they do. They absolutely. And Sean Payton's a great coach. And Bo Nix, like I think I've said this a lot. I think he peaked last year. I don't think he's going to get much better than he was last year. But also he was really good last year. So it's like, if he is that for his career, that's a good quarterback.
That's still a good quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Broncos to win this one. I think the issue with the Cowboys is they are much better at home.
Yeah.
Significantly better. Put them in a dome. Dak Prescott can ball out. CeeDee Lamb was going to have a good game. They'll run around and stuff. Send them to Denver. I don't think they're going to be. I think it'll be a pretty good game, but like I don't think they have a chance to win it. I really don't. Like I think Denver should win by like 10 points.
See, I think Denver should, but I think that they have had multiple games they've won where they shouldn't. They came back and beat the Eagles. They come back from multiple touchdowns down last week. I think this is one where they get kind of snake bit at home by a team with a high-powered offense. Just a team. Offenses don't necessarily travel well. I think this week they will. I think Johnny Barron's still a rookie, but it's one of the teams that you can put PS2 on CD all game, but now the Cowboys are good enough that they have multiple guys that can still beat you. So I think it'll be a close game, but I actually have Dallas taking it in a high-scoring, like 35-32, 37-35, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I got Dallas taking it.
I hope you're wrong on this one. I do think the Broncos will pull it out at home.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Also, conversely to the Broncos, like their 2 losses were by a combined total of 4 points.
Yeah.
So it's like they won games they shouldn't have won, but they've also lost games they shouldn't have lost.
They're better than I thought they were. Yeah, which is unfortunate.
And I think
not being great. If they weren't great, we'd be coasting.
Oh yeah. No, I think that Denver does get this one done. I think they'll find a way to beat Dallas at home. Because look, Dallas played us in Chicago and we shit all over them. And we're not that good. I think Denver will have an easier time.
We'll see.
Now we got the game of the week, in my opinion. Packers at Steelers. This is going to be the first time in my life where I am rooting as hard as I possibly can for Aaron Rodgers.
It feels gross. Doesn't it feel gross?
It feels a little weird. It feels a
weird,
little
right?
weird.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, but I root for the laundry, and I want the black team to win so bad. I hope Rodgers throws for 18 touchdowns, and I hope they're all to Randall Cobb, and he doesn't even play.
Retirement for one game.
Yeah, no, just bring him back.
Jordy Nelson signed one game.
Just so
one
they
day
know
contracts.
what it's like. What'd you say?
Him and Jordy Nelson signed 1 day contracts.
1 day contracts just to shit all over Green Bay. But yeah, I think look, I'm not too confident going into this one. I think the Packers will go into not Lambeau, into Heinz Field, whatever the fuck it's called.
We're calling it
I think Green Bay's still really good. I think Micah Parsons makes a difference, and I think they win this game like a 24-20 type situation. I think it'll be a good one, but I just think Green Bay's better.
I'm in agreement. I think particularly the style of offense they are running, it's a lot of deep drops, a lot of stuff from the pocket. Mike is going to get home. He's going to cause problems. The running game for Pittsburgh, you still don't really know what it is. Warren and Gainwell.
Gainwell's been nice.
Pittsburgh's a very physical team. They're a very tough team. The Packers defense to me is a little bit more of a finesse defense, a little bit more speed, and a little bit more agility. But I do think the Packers win. I think it'll be like you said, it'll be a close game. I think they do put up a decent amount of points, and it ends up 27-20, 31-27, that ballpark.
Yeah, and again, this should be the most fun game of the week for sure.
Yeah,
Sunday Night Football. People have been looking forward to this one. I know Green Bay fans are excited. To go against Rodgers. I know Rodgers is excited to go against the team that he probably feels did him dirty, even though they most certainly didn't. I mean, they could have drafted better for him, but that's not doing him dirty. Either way, I'm hoping Rodgers just balls it. I hope Rodgers wins it on a last-second Hail Mary.
What
honestly. And I hope Micah Parsons decides to quit out of sadness at that moment. But that is only a fantasy world. Green Bay wins, and Elijah is sad about it. Commanders going into Kansas City. Let's match the great Patrick Mahomes, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, against the great Marcus Mariota. 38-5.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Let's not. That's a little much. That's
a little much.
Washington still, McKissick, Crosby McKissick, and unfortunately a very good running back, which sucks. They found their guy in the backfield. They still have Towns weapons, really good defense. The Chiefs the Commanders have not been as good as people thought. If we recall, certain somebody picked them to regress a little bit. And
you did. I mean, look, and Jaden Daniels, he's been hurt, like you said.
Which was nothing I said would happen. And some of the guys on defense, so I was wrong on Debo. He has still looked really good. Larry Tunsil has not been an all-world left tackle. He's been fine at left tackle. I think that Kansas City is starting to click. Mahomes is playing really, really good. I feel like we keep saying, well, he's playing the best football of his career, and he can't be playing the best football of his career, and yet it feels like he's still playing the best football of his career. I think they win pretty easily. I don't know about 38-3, but I do think it'll be. I think Washington will get close to that. Probably more in the 24-14 range, but a game that I think Washington can be competitive even with Mariota. I think he's one of the better backups in the league. And similar to our discussion earlier about going from Lamar to Huntley instead of Lamar to Rush, you don't have to change that much of the offense for Mariota. You don't have to change much of your schemes. You can still do most of the same things.
Still do a lot of those things. But, man, Mariota makes some dumb throws, man.
He does.
He really does. I don't think 38-5 is a bit dramatic, but I do think 38 to.
It could be a blowout on Monday Night Football in Arrowhead. It could get nasty early for sure.
I think it's going to be an ugly game for Washington, and just another really good win for the Chiefs.
I think so. Yeah,
Chiefs
are still good at football. I know their record is their record, but Chiefs are still good at football. It's really unfortunate.
No, the Chiefs are great at football, and Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Look, his past 3 weeks, all over 70% completion percentage.
Correct.
Really, they should have beat the Jaguars, but he threw a boneheaded interception. But that was one of his 2 interceptions on the season.
Right. He's playing phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got 1,800 yards passing this year. So he's on pace to, I think he will get to 4,000, maybe.
Yeah, they're
less,
finding
but,
the
like,
vertical
it
offense
doesn't,
again.
it doesn't matter. It never matters what his numbers are because he's the killer. He's got the killer instinct. So be fine.
So that's our. Is that all of our games? Is there one Monday night?
That is
or
all our
two Monday
games.
night?
That is all our games.
Okay, I didn't know there was two.
Yeah,
Monday
we're
night
gonna wrap up. But look, always great having you on, of course, my man. And
always great to be here.
Should be a really fun week. I'm excited. I'm gonna go to my bar. Haven't lost since going to the bar across the street, and
Live.
And so I'm gonna be there, and yeah, we got our games going at the same time, so we'll definitely be in contact for that.
Definitely. Bear down, go Birds.
Bear down, yeah, go Birds. Good luck to you guys, of course. I never like to see the Giants win. No one wants to see the Giants win. And I have a new button for my show, so
that was easy.
That was easy. I have been easy. This has been Noah, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.